welcome. And today talking about leaky gut, a topic a lot of people have heard about. Most of you have probably heard about at this point. Wondering if you have it or if you think you have it, what to do about it. And I'm always going to come with a perspective that I hopefully a little different based on my practical experience and nuggets that you can use to understand and seek proper solutions. And so talking about leaky gut and what to do about it and what it is, a leaky brain, what the heck is that? How does leaky gut connect with that? And do you have that? How to know? And obviously what to do about it, all of this. So let's get started talking about leaky gut. And this is a big deal. It is a modern day condition because as you'll see, what it results from is modern diet and modern dysbiosis, which is that term. It means too many bad bacteria. That's what dysbiosis is. So, and that's key to understanding. This whole group is this theme of gut restoration project, and the ecological approach I take to healing the gut because it is an ecosystem. And so understanding what leaky gut is, you got to understand, and I'll explain what dysbiosis is, different forms of what that is, but that is really the imbalance of healthy, unhealthy, bad bacteria. Leaky gut is common these days because of all the environmental factors that are harming the health of the gut, and it basically describes that condition, the condition of having a damaged gut, inflammation. That's what leaky gut is. And it just basically describes how that's happening at the level of the gut lining, which is basically the gut is this first level of filtering out what should and shouldn't enter the body. And so it's like keeping the bad stuff out and allowing the good stuff in. It's like a cheesecloth, the gut is, sort of. It's a little bit more active than a cheesecloth, but it's like if you think it's like a filter, so it will keep bad germs and undigested food and toxins and stuff like that out of the body. And that's what the lining of the gut is. The gut is like, the digestive tract is like this big long tube that goes through the body, and you have like the mouth, the stomach, the intestines that are like these long tubes. And so the gut lining is like when you get into the intestines, it's basically that barrier that separates the inside of the body and the outside of what is not going to enter the body. So all the things that are going to leave the body, they're filtered out at that level of the intestinal lining, the gut lining. So leaky gut is the damage to that lining. That's what it is. And that causes inflammation. And we can get on down to the nitty gritty, which I guess we kind of have to understand how to heal it and what's really going on. And why leaky gut, it becomes a really hidden but also stubborn cause of so many diseases. Because if you have pretty much any chronic disease is connected back to the inflammation and dysbiosis happening in the gut, which is ultimately causing leaky gut, and so addressing the leak, that issue is sort of like a root cause. Because it is a root cause, but it's also like, in my work, it's like, what's causing that? Why is that, and removing the elements that are creating the situation to begin with. And that's essential in leaky gut because it's really like you talk about all these healing leaky gut solutions out there. But what are they? Are you healing it are you removing the cause? It's really hard to heal it when you haven't removed the cause. So that's what we're doing today, talking about leaky gut and what causes it. Let's just jump on into it. And I think today it seems appropriate to introduce a little clipboard drawing. Maybe it should become a whiteboard at some point. But, I just to give you a visual of what leaky gut is, this is healthy gut. So these are like epithelial cells that make up the gut lining. So this, like, the skin is made of cells, like a barrier. Well, so is the inside of the gut lining made up of these epithelial cells. And there's a lot more going on here in the structure of this gut lining. But basically, when it comes down to it, there are these, we'll call them proteins, that are sort of in between the cells of the gut, and they're called tight junctions, and they really keep the barrier with integrity and strong, and like keep the cells close together, because they have to be like the thing of a cheesecloth that's sturdy and like high quality and, you know, really strong and doesn't have big holes. That's because it's like has these proteins that are keeping it together, and this is a healthy gut lining. It has these tight junction proteins that are kind of keeping everything together. And allows for, we have nutrients. Let's see, what's the inside? Let's say this is where food moves through. And then this allows selective nutrients to then come into the body. Nutrients, yay. And then we have like germs and stuff like that. This is weird drawing, but like they can filter out and just move along and exit the body. That's sort of my nutrients. And then I should color code this. And then if you have over here, which is leaky gut, so let's think about these things as like bodyguards in simple terms. Like they're allowing the line to move through at a very like slow pace, keeping in, you know, letting the riffraff go, not come into the club, and the good stuff comes in. I don't know. And then we have over here, think about, this is just the lining becomes weak because ultimately these tight junctions break down in an unhealthy gut. And we'll talk about what's creating that unhealthy gut, but this is essentially leaky gut. You have these less proteins and that are keeping the cells together. And so you have less integrity in the gut lining, and what this causes is basically these germs can start to make their way into the body, and this causes inflammation. So gets like just really noisy, and like, you know, you start to get germs entering into the body, and what happens is with all this inflammation, nutrient absorption actually starts to go down, decrease, because there's all this inflammation and all this chaos at the level of the cell lining, and so less nutrients can then enter the body. So we have nutrients just kind of leaving the body, unfortunately. And then this is how this creates, and then so what the heck is causing this breakdown? Like, what is causing this leaky gut to begin with? Because this is a dangerous situation. You can have unintended things with unintended consequences enter the body. And, you know, this is why you get inflammation. And because what is causing this breakdown is an imbalance in bacteria. So that is like too many bad bacteria, which includes like fungus and candida. And that's a big factor in all of this. Hidden factor, a lot of people with stubborn gut issues, it's often fungal, that is very destructive on the gut lining. And anyway, what is happening is these things can start to enter the body, and then they, in the body, get into the bloodstream and release endotoxins, and you have any number of things creating systemic inflammation. Poor nutrition. Nutrition is key for cellular energy to that and healing this situation. This situation needs nutrition to heal because it needs proteins, amino acids to heal the tight junctions, and it needs, like, you know, the cells need all the nutrition, nourishment to heal. And this kind of inflammation just creates a lot of noise. So it creates a lot of issues at once. And if you have like autoimmune, you know, this is the immune system. The gut lining is the immune system, a large part of it, because it's like it's intricately connected to your body's response mechanisms and like inflammation response. It's telling the body that there's bad stuff coming in, we got to do stuff to get it out. So what causes all of this chaos is stuff that's disruptive to the microbiome, I guess. So that's where this is where the microbiome becomes key, because before all of this, okay, becomes relevant or a factor, there's a microbiome, all these like healthy, let's color code this. And let's say blue is healthy, and so you have like a healthy layer of good bacteria, and they're playing a big part in protecting, like they're another layer, okay, of protection. They help filter out all kinds of bad stuff and processed food and all kinds of good stuff. So the microbiome, this is where the microbiome is so key. It's like, because it has such a huge role in protecting the lining of the gut, which then allows for proper nutrient absorption and immune response. So when we destroy the microbiome, and also there's this thing called the mucosal membrane, which is basically another layer of muck. It's like mucus, and it's also protective, and it's a protective part of this immune system. So the biggest things that disrupt the microbiome and that mucosal membrane are food ingredients, pesticides, like we know I talk about glyphosate a lot. Well, glyphosate disrupts the life cycle of bacteria, which is the microbiome. So if we eat food with that's been treated with glyphosate, sprayed with glyphosate, there's one layer. And then if we take antibiotics and anything, that's all included in wiping out this and throwing this level of protection off. This is an interesting drawing, I'm realizing. Hopefully you're getting the idea. Microbiome. All right, so that is why, replacing the microbiome and restoring the health of the microbiome and that ecosystem is a big focus of restoring the lining of the gut, which we can then do through diet, but also removing the exposure. So, and then I want to keep talking about this, because when you wipe out healthy bacteria, then that fosters the growth of unhealthy bacteria. I feel like I need a red, but I don't think I have one. I'll be better prepared next time I decide to draw. But what I want to say, the point I want to make here is that this is where candida becomes such a menace, because when the good bacteria get wiped out, and it's not talked about enough, because the microbiome has lots of things, microbes in there. Bacteria, fungus, candida is sort of like fungus, same but different. Parasites. Okay, and then there's a healthy amount of the bad stuff if we put the bad stuff all in one group. But then when we destroy the good bacteria with antibiotics and non-organic food and food that's been treated with, like glyphosate specifically is that example a lot, even though there's lots of toxic stuff, like the number of chemicals in the food system to begin with, there's thousands that are harmful to the gut. There's ingredients in food that are harmful to the gut lining, specifically in the microbiome. But I just talk about glyphosate because it is like an antibiotic in itself. But so when we think about treating leaky gut, the first step is taking out what's causing it, which is going to be processed food, sugar, and just anything that is not whole food, plant-based. That's the diet that supports the proliferation of healthy bacteria and supports a good microbiome, and it's healing to the gut lining. So we got to get the bad stuff out, because when we have a leaky gut, the bad stuff then doesn't just harm the gut, it enters into the body. But it also, okay, back to candida, what's going on there, that is such an interesting, like when you have gut issues, your gut is often, let's get this straight. Everybody has leaky gut and everybody has dysbiosis if you live in the modern world. And you breathe air and water and eat food, even if it's all organic. This stuff makes it, the toxins are so abundant that they make their way into our gut and expose us. So this is part of being proactive, is, everybody, regardless of getting hung up on the diagnosis, do I have leaky gut or not? Assume you do, and these are the things we should do. And these things also happen to be at the center of my programs that really walk you through in a personalized way. It's a way to heal your gut and your whole body. Candida. I want to come back to that because That's a tricky one, when it comes to the different microbes. So if you have, and that's something that like gets in, it's part of the microbiome. You might ingest it at childbirth or during birth. You might be exposed to it when you're born, or when you are consuming breast milk, like through your mother. If your mother had had high levels of candida, they might have come into you might have them. It might be lifelong. So this isn't like something that, can always be there, and then it just can thrive when the system gets out of balance. So if it's in your gut and it's a part of your microbiome, wiping out, taking antibiotics can cause fungus and things like this to gain dominance. And they are really interesting microbes. They kind of like drill holes in your gut lining and kind of that, and sort of poke holes, and that proliferation really does create leaky gut. It's just like poking holes. So that's often what's going on in leaky gut in these aggressive cases, is candida overgrowth, fungal overgrowth that really digs through into the gut and really becomes dangerous. And this is one example, but when it gets into the bloodstream, that's when your body has to start working really hard to keep this fungus under control throughout your blood. And so that's a lot of energy it has to start using, which leads to fatigue, chronic fatigue, autoimmunity, and even if if it gets backed up, it gets up into the brain, breaks through the blood-brain barrier. That's how these things, leaky gut can often create leaky brain, because it's just something is damaging the tissues. Your microbiome is so out of balance that it's allowed in these harmful microorganisms. And so this is a bad situation, and it's very, very common, because I say candida is a silent killer, because this is not to scare you, but we have solutions, because it's not detected and creates so much dysfunction. So this is when it becomes essential to consider the terrain, which is what I'm referring to as like this ecosystem of our body, the environment we are creating, the cellular environment, the cellular terrain, because a healthy body that is not in inflammation and acidic won't allow that to happen. And that is really that is basically what happens with autoimmunity. And you can translate that to any other condition based on like what's going on in your unique system. But so basically leaky gut and gut problems can be divided into kind of two groups: bad bacteria causing or fungal causing. And you can kind of see when in response to diet, if you respond more reactive to like grains and meat, if those create reaction, that's more likely fungus driven. And then bad bacteria. This can happen at any point within the digestive tract too, so it's hard to know, because it's like different parts of the body are affected, causing different symptoms. This is where this is root cause land. This is what's happening at a root cause level. And then you have the expression of symptoms, whether they're like increased cardiac disease or blood sugar regulation is poor, or brain fog, or, all this, whatever your flavor is. And then there's like other issues around the immune system overreactivity, because at some point the immune system gets so out of whack, and then you have overstimulation and overreactivity and all the mast cell conditions, and whatever's going on there is ultimate result of poor gut health. And then whatever's happened sort of in the body signal-wise to whatever's going on between the body and the brain and the gut, whatever signaling is misfiring is usually affected, or the connection between the brain and the gut is usually affected, because they are very much coordinated. So if the gut is all inflamed and chaotic and noisy because it's got an immune reaction happening all the time, it's going to not be communicating correctly with the brain. This is my gut and this is my brain. And And so then you're going to just really get the brain, the mental symptoms, the cognition, the focus, all that stuff. So I don't know. Does anyone have questions? Let me know. Otherwise, I just talk. So you got to get the bad stuff out of the diet, clean up your diet. And so if people are cleaning up their diet and still noticing symptoms and stuff, this is a big reason. The leaky gut still needs to be addressed. You need to sometimes, this is where it's appropriate to talk about antifungal herbal protocols and bacterial protocols and all the, you can get into this different conditions of where in the gut, what are the symptoms? And then from there, you can assume that's where there's an imbalance of. And then from there, is it fungal or bacterial? And then parasites can be part of the issue too. And then you can get really specific with treating things like with herbs. But you have to there's all these in the leaky gut, they talk about amino acids and L-glutamine specifically as a way to heal leaky gut. But if you don't address the microbiome issues, what's going on, what's digging into those tissues and causing this, then it's pointless to try to heal it. So giving it an amino acid, which is great because amino acids repair those tight junctions that keep the that gut like a tight little new cheesecloth. This is an old used up extra worn out cheesecloth and just stuff is leaking through. That's leaky gut means stuff is leaking through and you're causing inflammation. It's not too difficult to understand. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a huge root cause of pretty much every chronic condition and autoimmune condition. That's the level at the gut that we're talking about. But it's caused by a poor microbiome, and really understanding the specifics of what's causing your leaky gut is how you restore balance. That this is the essential terrain. There's gut health terrain, the resilience at that level. And so this is where the superfood stuff that I'm always talking about comes in, because this is the most effective way to give the body what it needs, give the nutrition, bring in the nutrition. That's at the core of my program. It has their therapeutic function, and it works so well because it addresses leaky gut on so many levels. It provides the nourishment that the cells can use to produce energy and eliminate the things that are bad. It provides the amino acids that restore the tissue, the broken down tissue, the leaky tissue, and it provides, happens to just be sitting here because I'm working on addressing some of my own leaky gut. This is a product that is another part of the superfood pack that I use a lot to reset the gut, rebalance the gut, clean the whole body, restore health. And this product alone, so this is what's shown to biomedic by Purian, that's what I'm talking about. And this alone shows to reduce glyphosate in the gut by 75% in a preclinical study, and reduce inflammation as well by that much. So immediately that's the effect of removing glyphosate, reducing inflammation, and restored the integrity of the gut lining by more than 30%. So by removing the bad elements and giving the body what it needs to heal, helps repair that gut lining and restore that integrity. And that's where you need to focus. But you got to remove what's causing the leaky gut. Is it just poor, it's most likely specific poor bacteria, dysbiosis, bad bacteria, candida, fungus, parasites, damaging, the presence of too many of those damaging the gut lining. Because they feed off a tissue in the body, literally. So that kind of gives you a bit more of a visual of what's going on. This is a big part of regulating the body, is eliminating some of these microorganisms that get out of whack. So this is a super powerful by itself supplement, Biomedic by Purium, but it's when used with the superfood pack that has the nutrients, the amino acids, the anti-inflammatory components. That's what heals the gut. in a really profound, powerful way, stronger than anything, because I've done all the things. Another one I'm seeing these days is with healing leaky gut. If you kind of want to, I don't know if you're getting into the research about it. Interestingly, they're just like, if you're looking at, I'm never really about single nutrient solutions. I believe you can get, ideally you can get, the body's designed to extract nutrients from food, synthetically produce nutrients. So, but I'm all for that, but it's the problem that that's hard to come by these days because of the soil issues and modern farming issues. That's what's destroying the gut, all those chemicals too. So it's destroying the soil and then destroying our internal ecosystem. So, but like two nutrients are like small chain fatty acids, butyric acid. You can take, I've seen supplements now that you can take that to restore. That's what it does in the body. It's made naturally in the body by healthy bacteria. Okay, so this is already happening in the body. You shouldn't need to take it. But if you're bad bacteria, if your microbiome, if you have dysbiosis, too many unhealthy bacteria, then you're not producing healthy levels of butyric acid, and that's why you got to go take it. So it's still kind of a band-aid thing to go take these supplements. Another one is thiamine, associated with, it's associated, simply put, I guess, with the mucosal membrane. That is one of those protective layers. It's like a protective layer, the mucus, before it protects, it's playing a role in keeping the bad stuff out of the body. So thiamine deficiency, just a nutrient deficiency, is causing the breakdown of that crucial layer. So this is one of the other reasons why the superfood pack works so well, because it addresses all of these deficiencies, because it's just giving you pure, unadulterated nutrition from food, but it's just highly concentrated. And so it's just extra nourishing. It's flooding the body with the nourishment that is preventing it from repairing itself. So nourishment is one of the key ways to heal leaky gut. That's why this works so well, the superfood pack, because this has elements in it that are antimicrobial, and naturally humic acid, folic acid, so those kind of rebalance the bacteria, fungal levels. It's just so if you're having systemic inflammation, then that means, you've got stuff getting through into your blood, and that's another level of, you got to detox, because you're not, heal the gut, but then also that's first. Healing the gut is always first, because you can't detox the rest of the body until you heal the gut and have that healthy membrane that can stay healed. Because if it's working with this, you're not doing anything. If you're taking supplements and stuff and you have this going on and you haven't healed it back up, then you're not doing anything. No, supplements aren't likely even getting absorbed. They're not getting through. They're just creating more stress. So nutrition, microbiome rebalancing, testing might be useful here, but this is where muscle testing can be. These things can be in layers too. So that's why I rely on muscle testing to kind of work through the layers. What else am I want to say here? Ingredients, food ingredients that are common that can also create leaky gut are seed oils and canola oil, kind of get in there and create inflammation and make it hard to heal. And emulsifiers, like those are sort of as a food ingredient that like in like ice cream and a lot of processed foods, blended like mayonnaise and emulsifiers, certain emulsifiers are shown to just completely wipe out the microbiome, the healthy the bacteria, the microbiome layer and the mucosal membrane layer. So food ingredients can do this. That's why processed food is so bad, because it really hurts the gut lining. It's really bad on the gut lining. And so, so let me know if you have any questions but I guess to heal leaky gut, eliminate the bad stuff, which is bad bacteria, harmful foods, unprocessed foods, address the microbiome, balance, get good. This is where probiotics, this is where fermented foods can be a good natural source of probiotic foods to bring those microbiome, good bacteria levels back up. If fermented food is problematic for you, there's that might be for some reason in particular, so I can help you navigate that. If you want to book a call, that's what the one-on-ones that I do are for is you can book a consultation, let me know what's going on with you, and we can figure out the best way to address that for you. So I'm going to have lots of cool, fun things coming up, but always reach out, private message me, or go to my website and you can book a one-on-one if you have some more questions or think you have leaky gut, because this is like hard to heal too. This isn't just like da-da-da, go heal it. You can watch any number of YouTube videos about leaky gut and how to heal it. And there are lots of ways, but you're not going to heal it unless you address the microbiome imbalance issues. And those at some point can get a mind of their own. That's the point, is the microbiome can get a mind of its own if it has too many aggressive fungus and imbalances there with things that are breaking through the gut lining and circulating through the body and making it weaker. So that's what's happening with autoimmune disease. That's what's happening. And then the body is attacking that. It's not attacking itself, it's attacking what's the toxins that are circulating. So I think that's it for what I'm gonna share, my amazing art. What I guess wanna, this, you have to take the initiative to heal this situation, because the gut is so much connected to the brain, which that's my brain. Is that there's such an important superhighway here that regulates the health of the whole body and keeps it, working properly. This is in constant communication. So it's your responsibility to heal the gut and the gut lining, which can be a pretty precise process and be very individual. And that's why gut restoration can be such an individual journey. And I'm coming here with this weekly information to share perspectives. But, at the end of the day, your journey might be very precise on what's needed to bring this back into alignment, this happy little ecosystem, and then protect the gut lining. This will heal. If this is damaged, it will heal. It just needs the right conditions to heal. That's always the point here. Just give the body the right conditions, just give the tissues and the cells the right conditions, and it'll heal. But this is letting a lot of bad things happen if you have this situation going on. Things will start circulating through the body in the brain, and you don't want leaky brain. That's a bad news. So if you have leaky gut, want to know more, think I might have a solution for you. I most likely do. I've had leaky gut very much. It's been a crucial factor in my development of autoimmune symptoms, which were just so much just out of control rashes, inflammation, pain, really. I have this Costco, I can't find it, and I don't think it will show because it's ripped off, but 2 or 3 years ago, 4 years ago maybe at this point, I got a Costco photo taken, and I was so red. I looked like a tomato, and it was not the overexposure. It was I was actually that red, which, there was something systemic going on. So all of this can be healed, but that's a very dangerous situation when you have that systemic. And this is allergies too. This is what allergies are. This is that mast cell activation. This is histamine intolerance. It's because you have stuff circulating. Stuff is entering the body. It could be a fungal infection. It could be mold, and it could be anything. But likely it's connected to the microbial imbalance, the dysbiosis, too many bad. So working at the level of the gut microbiome is kind of step 1 or 2, I guess. Removing what's destroying the microbiome, and diet and medicines is important. And there's a time and place for antibiotics, but overuse just in general has created this situation that is an epidemic. Antibiotics early in life, antibiotics in our food, emulsifiers and things that break this down, food ingredients, all kinds of things, seed oil, all kinds of things in our foods. That's why eating clean is step 1, I guess. And then foods that support a healthy microbiome is important, step 2. And if that doesn't resolve your issues, let's do a consultation and let's dig deeper. Thanks for joining, talking all about leaky gut. I'm gonna have some if you're still here, thanks for being here. I have some real cool stuff coming up soon in the next few weeks, around mid-May. this like a free challenge that is going to be really, I mean, I haven't seen anything like this out there, but this is like a activation for your body to start eliminating toxins better. And this is like another root issue. This is at the root. Leaky gut is most likely a result of the body not eliminating toxins properly. Because then a lot of the muck, the trash, the backup happens in the gut. If the sewage system, like the lymphatic system, is not keeping the body clean, then the backup happens in the gut and creates damage too. So that's another factor. But getting these different systems, cleaning systems of the body activated, will activate your real health and your body's journey to health. And it all starts with getting the bad stuff out and keeping the good stuff in, bringing more good stuff in. So this will assist your body getting the bad stuff out. That's step one. So stay tuned for that. It's going to just be, I don't know what we're calling it yet. So maybe I'll ask for suggestions, but that's coming in a few weeks. So it's a 5-day free challenge. That's what it is. So I want everybody to sign up. There's no reason not to sign up, but I haven't posted it yet. So stay tuned. Thanks for joining. Let me know if you have any questions at all, y'all. Hi, good to see you here, and feel free to reach out, private message me at any avenue, and let me know what's going on with your gut, with your immune health. And it's all about getting those back in order, taking back our health. This is where we do it in the level of the digestive tract. That's where the insides meet the outsides meet the insides. So thanks again, and I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you back here next Monday.